Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Today was the first day of training camp for the Utah Mammoth. They labeled it as media availability. So it's pretty much just getting everyone caught up on some news that's going on. A lot of people didn't know about all these news items, not even me. They kind of kept it under wraps until today when they had to talk to the organization. And the first big piece of news is both Connor Ingram and the organization of Utah, they're mutually agreeing to go their separate ways. Bill Armstrong's hard at work to find him a new home, and it might involve him going to waivers and letting another team pick him up and give Ingram a new home. There wasn't really a reason why they were doing this, but it's mutual. Both parties agreed this was the best way forward. Just my opinion would probably be that, probably Connor Ingram feels bad he let the team down, leaving them right after the Four Nations, right when the team was battling for a playoff spot. Vejmelka had to start like 23 games in a row, and Ingram had to enter himself in the players' assistance program. I hope that's the reason and not anything else, but that kind of makes sense to me. Ingram is not even attending training camp. They're trying to get this done, and he won't be participating at training camp for the Utah Mammoth. As the number one resident Ingram enjoyer, I love Ingram. I thought he would be a great goalie for this team for the long term, whether it be backup or starter. When he's on, he's on. He had an incredible season, Arizona's last season. The way he played, the calmness, I liked him so much better in that season compared to Vejmelka, because Vejmelka likes to move around a lot and swim, whereas Ingram is very purposeful in his movements, but unfortunately he went through some tough personal times with his mother passing late, last December, and he just needs a new start. So all the power to Ingram, and I hope he has success with an Eastern team in the Eastern Conference. I hope it's not in the Western Conference, and definitely not a divisional opponent. Also, some news is that Liam O'Brien is injured, and he's listed as week to week with a lower body injury. So this media availability was great, because that video I made about a week or two ago is completely old news. They now have the roster flexibility to move people up, change things around, with O'Brien being on injured reserve and Ingram no longer going to be part of the team. For O'Brien, the week starts in about 3 weeks, so he might be ready for opening day. I don't think so. I think Bill Armstrong, if he's smart and savvy, he'll probably lay off from activating O'Brien and see if Simishev Boot or another rookie or prospect takes a roster spot, and they have to give them the roster spot and just buy some time with O'Brien being on injured reserve. With O'Brien on injured reserve and Ingram not part of the team, that 23-man active roster drops down to 21. But if you add DeSimone with Vanacek on the active roster, it goes to 22, and so that leaves one more spot. And I'm leaning to Simishev probably making the roster out of camp, maybe Boot, but didn't really like what I saw at those two rookie games, the rookie showcase. And with O'Brien out on injured reserve, this is an open runway for Michael Carcone, who signed a one-year contract with Utah, league minimum, to grab that fourth line wing position with Kerfoot and Stenland if they keep the lines the same. Or Daniel Boot can even push for that wing position, and sort of an internal competition between Carcone and Boot for that fourth line wing position. And Belle Frazier has left Utah, left the Salt Lake Tribune, left covering the Utah Mammoth. She is now covering the Boston Bruins, an original six team with over 100 years of history deep in that organization. That's her home turf, and so all the success, all the congratulations to Belle Frazier, friend of the channel. She's one of the 3 interviews I did for the channel, and people around me in real life, when they saw that interview, they saw like, wow, that Belle is really great. She knows exactly what she's doing. She could hold her own. She's amazing. She's incredible at her job. I even saw, obviously, I thought the same since the beginning. I was very impressed with how detail-oriented she was in the way she spoke, the way she did interviews, and even just getting those details that I love, like conditional picks. What is that condition? Just being the first out on Twitter with those details. And for Belle Frazier, she goes back to Boston. And I saw her recently on a Dallas podcast, a Dallas Stars podcast, I think part of that All City arm, and just the way she was fielding and answering questions. It was just unbelievable. And that was just a week or two ago. So she knew she had this job lined up, and she still gave a grade A effort. So all kudos to Belle, and hope she has tremendous success in Boston. Next, we go to some professional tryout players that were invited to the Utah Mammoth training camp. I have the list here. The forwards are Ryan McGregor, Austin Poganski, Ty Tullio, and Sammy Walker. McGregor, Poganski, and Walker were part of the Roadrunners last season, so I expect them to be signed for the Roadrunners. None of these players will be making an appearance for the Utah Mammoth. I don't know who Ty Tullio is, probably just an amateur tryout American Hockey League player. But Sammy Walker did sign a one-year contract with the Roadrunners earlier this week, so he will for sure be with the Roadrunners. And Poganski, he was a captain of the Roadrunners last year, so I'm sure he'll be part of the Roadrunners. Again, defenseman Layden Moore also played with the Roadrunners last year. And goalies McKay and Dylan Wells. McKay, probably an amateur tryout American Hockey League goalie, but they have so many goalies now in the American Hockey League with Stauber, Vialta, Dylan Wells right here, who made a lot of appearances for the Roadrunners last year. And Anton Thornton is part of training camp as well. So McKay is going to have to jump over a lot of goalies, which I don't think he will. I think Stauber and Vialta have those starter and backup positions with the Roadrunners. And then we'll see if Thornton or Wells will be that third rotating goalie. I would love for Thornton to stay with the Roadrunners, stay in the American Hockey League for a full season and just get some reps in. He's an interesting prospect. He used to be part of those prospect tournaments all the time, like 3 of them in a row. But the one last weekend he was not a part of. And then the practice facility is finally open. It took 13 months to build, and it is exceptional, state-of-the-art facility. It's got an 8,000 square foot dry gym with about a 40-yard turf, so you could do your sleds, backward sleds. If you're not backward sledding, you got to work on those on your knees. They also have training technology, location and tracking technology on the ice surface or above the ice surface to track player movement, puck movement, track individual player performance and workload. So that could give them an edge against the competition. And there's a whole suite of just some like recovery items like sauna, ice bath, red light therapy, and therapy pools. They got a huge spa next to the gym in this practice facility, along with a modern kitchen and a lounge and media rooms for the players and a grade A locker room. I've been cycling the pictures while I'm talking about it, but great job by Utah Mammoth. They say it's one of the best practice facilities across the league. So we'll see how that translates to on the ice. Maybe that turns into some games and some points. And just getting back to Ingram, with him not being part of the team, this confirms a tandem of Vejmelka and Vanacek. My gut reaction is I'm uncomfortable with that, but that's only because I've never really seen Vanacek play, and his numbers on a basement team with San Jose really tanked his career stats. He is coming from a Stanley Cup champion team, the Florida Panthers, that acquired him at the trade deadline, but he didn't play much, so there's nothing really to gather from that. He had a pretty good season with the Devils a year or two ago, so I'm just holding my breath, and hopefully Vanacek proves me wrong. But it's great that they have 2 countrymen as a starter and backup from Czechia with Vejmelka and Vanacek, and we'll see if Vanacek could unlock that VTech power and provide that stability and consistency this team needs in the backup position. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.